You know, when I was preparing this solemn novena, I knew that I had to speak about the 7 gifts of the Holy Spirit, but I knew that there was a problem. I mean, there were 9 days in this novena. So what would I talk about the last 2 days? So I decided I would talk about the gifts given to us by our Blessed Mother and the gifts given to us by St. Vincent de Paul. So today I'd like to share with you a few thoughts about our Blessed Mother. And let me begin by saying I really believe that the greatest gift that Mary gives us is the gift of herself. A woman who works in a supermarket tells this story. She said one morning a little boy walked up to her with big sad eyes and told her that he was lost. He said, "I can't find my mommy." So she took him by the hand and told him not to worry, she would find his mother. And they looked up aisle after aisle. And every time she asked him, "Do you see your mom?" the boy would answer no. Finally, she took him to the front of the store and stood him on a counter. And she told him to look around very carefully. And once again she asked him, "Now do you see your mom?" And the boy's answer was, "No, I just keep seeing only my dad." You know, Dad may have been there, but without his mother, that kid felt lost. Folks, without Mary, our Blessed Mother, we truly are lost. I know that you good people are not lost. I see the wonderful devotion that you have to our Blessed Mother. And I was thinking this morning, I think Jesus would want me to tell you how grateful he is to you for the love that you have for his Blessed Mother. You know, parents, especially mothers, will do most anything to make sure that their children are safe. A delightful true story here is of a boy and a girl who were fishing with their mother in the Alaskan wilderness when a baby moose approached them. And the children very innocently walked towards it. And moments later, the mother moose charged into the scene, nostrils flaring and head lowered. And now the children were in danger. And the mother of the children immediately came to their rescue. She ran between the children and the mother moose, screaming and waving her arms. And as she charged right up to the mother moose decided it was best to make a hasty retreat and get away from that crazy woman. And later, when the children were with the rest of the family, they told their dad about the encounter. And they said, "Daddy, you should have seen it. Mom scared her off that moose with nothing but her face." You know, we may not have an encounter with a moose, but we do encounter many instances when we need the loving protection of a mother. And Mary is that Blessed Mother. She is there to help us, to protect us, to comfort us when we are attacked not by a mother moose, but by a serious illness or some other problem or worry or concern. You know, we're talking about gifts. Well, Mary gives us the gift of being a loving, caring, protecting mother. You know, Mary gave us a very special gift when she gave us the Holy Rosary. You know, after my mom's death, my sister-in-law Mary distributed my mom's possessions among the grandchildren. I really didn't care who got what. I didn't care who got the silver dinnerware set. I got my mom's miraculous medal, my mom's statue of Mary, and most of all, I got her silver rosary beads. And I think Mom only entertained with the silverware set. but she held on to those silver beads as if her life depended on it. And they probably did, because it was those beads that she reached for when my dad and my brother John were diagnosed with terminal cancer. It was those beads that she reached for when she got word that her only sister had dropped dead in a parking lot mall. It was those beads that brought my mom so much comfort, consolation, and inner peace. And I have to tell you, as I look at you this morning, I am convinced that your rosaries bring you that same comfort, consolation, and peace. You know, in her apparition at Guadalupe, Mary spoke these words that all of us should be very happy to hear. She said, "I will show compassion to your people and to all people who sincerely ask my help in their work and in their sorrows. I will see their tears. I will console them, and they will be at peace." And she added, "I will give motherly love and compassion to all who seek my aid." Hey, folks, please note that Mary did not promise that we would never suffer if we kept her in our life. She never said that if we said the rosary or wore the medal, that nothing bad would ever happen to us. Mary is not a good luck charm. The fact is that faith in God and devotion to Mary can get us through those difficult times. Mary can always give us the comfort, the strength, and the courage to carry on. They tell the story of a salesman who was going door to door trying to sell his wares. And as he walked up to the next house, he noticed a small boy sitting on the front steps. And he asked, "Is your mother home?" And the boy said, "Yes, she's home." And the boy moved aside and let him pass. The salesman went up and he rang the doorbell. Got no response. Knocked on the door, no response. Rang the doorbell, still no response. No one came to the door. And now turning to the boy, the man said, "I thought you said your mother was home." And the kid said, "She is, but this isn't where we live." You know, folks, Mary is our Blessed Mother. And the good news is she's always home. She's always here in this shrine. She always is with us in our home. She is with us at all times, and she's just waiting for us to call on her in prayer. And there is another wonderful gift that Mary gives us. I think she enables us to imitate her by saying to God, "Fiat, thy will be done." You know, when the angel asked Mary to be the mother of God, Mary said, "Fiat." She said yes to God. "Fiat, let it be done according to your will." She was willing to do whatever was asked of her. She was able to say yes to the Lord. You know why? Because she trusted in God. And she wants us to trust in God also. But let me tell you, to trust in God, to give our full trust, to place our full trust in God, we have to believe that God knows what He is doing. Here is another one of my favorite stories. The Hasidic Jews tell this story. Two elderly rabbis were walking along the road one day. It was a beautiful summer day. And they were talking about the wonders of creation. And the birds twittered above while the cows grazed lazily in the meadow. And one of the rabbis said, "You know, the ways of the Lord are mysterious." He said, "Consider the birds and the cows. The bird is small, and its needs are modest. Nevertheless, it has been given wings and has access to the sky as well as the earth. And the cow is big. Her needs are much greater." He said, "What I can't understand is why the Lord, in His infinite wisdom, does not permit the cow to fly." And just then a little bird flew overhead and responded, as it were, to a call of nature right on the rabbi's head. And at that point, the rabbi said, "Now I know. Now I know why the cow doesn't fly." And as the story goes, the rabbi went away with a greater trust in God, saying to himself, whatever God does well. Folks, Mary wants us to imitate her, to say yes to God no matter what happens to us. She wants us to trust in him as she did. She wants us to be able to say, whatever God does well. So now let's continue our Mass by thanking Mary for the gift of the Rosary, for the gift of herself.